Let's get started. Oh, welcome. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Welcome to the Phlebotomy Secrets Podcast, the show where we dive deep into the fascinating world of phlebotomy and healthcare. I'm your host, Khalil Thomas, and today we're going to have a special guest who is not only a seasoned phlebotomist, but also an exceptional instructor as well. So we're going to welcome Deborah in just a second, and we're going to get this show on the road. So I'm so excited. So stay tuned and let's jump in. So today we have a special guest who we are bringing in right now. I'm so excited to have her on here. I'm getting almost like starstruck in a way because she's so exciting. She's so humble in what she does. She loves phlebotomy. She has the heart of gold in it, and you guys will see it oozing out of her. So I'm going to welcome Deborah to the stage so that she can, meet you guys and just, give you as many gems as possible. So let's welcome Deborah. Hey, Dad, what's going on? I got to get the clapping sound so that we can just get an applause coming in here. I'm going to do that next time. So,
right.
This is like my first podcast that I'm having with a guest. So I'm so happy you were the first one. That means so much to me.
Yes, thank you for having me. This is truly exciting. I feel honored.
Yeah, no problem. So we have some things that we want to talk about, get to know you a little bit more. Especially in the beginning, because we can do some, icebreakers just so that we can, see where you're from, what you like to do. So I'm just going to, get started with some questions really quick because
okay.
I'm gonna jump right into it because you're special and we want to know all about you. So if you don't mind, give me an intro of who you are and what you actually do, if you don't mind.
Yes, absolutely. So everyone, my name is Deborah Young. I have been in the phlebotomy field for 19 years. I truly love it. Did not expect to be here because I initially was going into a different field, but I love the world of phlebotomy. I'm a certified phlebotomist, instructor, and I also have my own business called Professional Phlebotomy Solutions. It is a phlebotomy school. Not only do I help students, I also help train instructors and program directors who are interested in starting their own phlebotomy school. And so I just love being able to help people and teach them and train them and just give to them what, I struggled with. So I'm excited to be here today. Khalil, thank you so much again for having me.
Yes, I'm so happy you're here. That's awesome. Listen, she's helping people out with starting school. She's mentoring. She's doing one-to-ones.
Yes.
Listen, it's like a whole other field of phlebotomy when we really think about it, because again, people just think that all you can do is, just draw blood, and there's so many different scopes of phlebotomy that we can tap into. So just seeing you in this field in a whole different niche is just a beautiful feeling, because now you can see that there's other options out there too. There's other ways to make a profit. There's other ways to be successful within this field. So it's so dope that you are just in that area. So I'm so happy to have you here too. So thank you. So we want to know a little bit about you. We want to know a little bit about Deborah. We want to know about, what you do.
Ask me anything.
Yeah, no problem. Let's go. So I have a few questions. One of the questions is, outside of your role as a phlebotomy instructor, what are your other interests or hobbies?
Okay, so hobbies, I definitely I'm very creative. So I do a lot of mosaic arts and ceramics. So with clay, pottery, things like that. And then outside of phlebotomy, I also have a women's organization called Growing and Empowering Myself Spiritually.
Nice.
I really have a heart to help women grow on the inside and also on the outside as well. And I'm really into beauty things. So if it has to do with self-care, just taking care of yourself, I really, thrive in that arena. So helping women understand how to dress, get their style on, things like that. Those are just some things I do outside of the phlebotomy field. So if you know me personally, you know that.
Okay.
Yes.
That's awesome. So I woke up like this. That's what it's giving for the people. You're gonna be helping them out in that area. I love that. That's
yes.
Empowerment right there. I love that.
Yes, women's empowerment. That's what
have you ever did like a like a whole makeover on a person? Like,
Yes, I have actually helping them style from head to toe, getting their hair done, their nails, helping them find their wardrobe. I love, getting dressed up, going shopping. And so I have helped, a few ladies get their style on and show them what
okay,
to wear. You know,
right.
I
That's
love
so
doing
dope.
that.
I absolutely love that. That's awesome. Okay, okay.
Mhm.
So let's ask another question. And if you guys have questions too, you guys can actually ask them in the chats. Like, let's get interactive. Let's get to know each other. I would love to hear you guys' questions as well to ask Deborah. So let's ask you this. I'm sorry. So the next question I want to ask you is, how do you unwind and relax after a busy day of teaching phlebotomy?
Okay, unwinding for me is coming home, taking a bath or a hot shower, and getting into bed, reading a book, or maybe turning on Netflix. Also, too, I love going to the park. So, going to the
Mm,
park, taking my headphones and listening to some music and just for a walk, those are just some things that I love to do just to
oh,
wind
I
down.
love music. Oh my God. What
Yeah.
kind of music do you like to listen to?
I love R&B music, gospel, also
Oh,
worship, inspirational music, and
oh.
listening to the sounds of rain and ocean and a fireplace. Those are just they do it for me.
No, that's so dope. Okay, I feel the same way, because
Mhm.
it's so nostalgic to me, just to hear
Yes.
the noises, and it's so relaxing. So I can completely understand, listening to like rainwater or sometimes traffic, or I like to listen
Mhm.
to thunderstorms or rainforest
Not
music. Like,
traffic.
no, seriously, like the horns. Like, so back in the day when I used to
Okay.
live in Philadelphia, I used to live by a street that was just always busy, always cars and trucks.
Oh.
So it was like,
So that's comforting to you.
yeah, so it was like, okay, I like this noise. It makes me go to sleep. It's weird, but
Right.
whatever. But what kind of noise? I'm sorry, what kind of music do you listen to when you're headed to a patient's house? Do you listen to relaxing music? Do you listen to hardcore rap music when you're with a
So
patient? What are you
that's
guys
a
thinking?
great question. That's
Yeah.
a really good question. The type of music I listen to when I'm driving to a patient's home, that's or patients like when if I'm driving to patient's home or if I'm driving to work, students, whatever. But there's something that I call women's empowerment music.
Mhm.
And so, like they have different songs like What's Wrong with Being Confident, or I
Mm.
can't think of like Destiny Child song, Miss Independent, all those different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so women empowerment music, I just kind of love that when I'm
Yeah.
driving to go do anything phlebotomy wise. So it just really helps get me in the zone. It helps make me feel, confident, like, oh, hey, I can do this. So any type of women's empowerment, I have a whole playlist on Spotify with like 40
Oh,
songs.
yes. Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love to hear that. That's
Mhm.
we are in a place to where we're talking more phlebotomy and what we do behind the scenes, and I feel like it's important that we just talk about these things because there's so much that we can elaborate on and actually express to people that what we do outside of phlebotomy when we're going to and from patients' houses, how we stop at certain spots and just suck in the air and the atmosphere. I remember I used to draw blood at a patient's house by the beach, and between that time
Wow.
be putting my feet in the sand while I'm about to head over to a patient. I may be 15, 20 more minutes away from the patient's house because what I do
Right.
before is see where they live. And if they live by the beach, okay, cool. They gotta get drawn at 9 o'clock. I'll be there like just so I can be at the beach for a little bit before the time I have to be there to draw that patient. So it's like, let's talk
Mhm.
about that. Let's express that because that's so cool, to do in between those times that you're going to see those patients. That's why I always give out a window whenever I'm doing blood draws for patients
That's
because you
good.
never know what happens. Traffic, you may get there early or get there a little bit late for whatever reason. But I love to just have
Mhm.
those moments to where we could just talk about what we did in between those patients' times. Hey, I stopped at Wawa and I saw
Right.
celebrity, or I stopped at, something caught my eye when I was on my way. Because sometimes these road trips are really long. So it's just,
Oh my goodness. Yes, they
it's good
are.
to elaborate and talk on that. I love that. I love that.
Mhm.
So my next question is going to be, and then we're going to get into the phlebotomy questions that I want to ask. I just want to,
Oh, I'm having
let
fun with this.
you. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
This is okay. So the next question is going to be this. Okay. Ooh. Are there any travel destinations on your bucket list, and why do they intrigue you?
Okay, yeah. So Greece, that's like on my to-do
Ooh.
list. I want to go so badly. I've seen other people who have gone and just the scenery really interests me, the
Mm,
culture, the food. So I am really looking to go within the next year or two to Greece. I mean, that
Nice.
is like on my top list of where to travel. I traveled to a lot of different places in the United States, and I've been to other places like, Jamaica, but Greece is like one of the top place that I really, really would love to go.
We can go. We can go. Okay, listen, let me know. We can go to Greece. That sounds like a ball. Listen,
Right.
I can just imagine. I know the waters are just so crisp and just like they be doing sailing out there too. Like I've
Yeah.
seen so many of the plateaus. It's so beautiful out there. So yeah, I see Greece as being like a really, great place to like go and travel to. That has to be on everyone's bucket list. Like
I
it
know
should.
that is on my bucket list. Oh
It's
my
just one of
goodness.
those
I
things that
can't
just has
wait.
to be on your bucket list.
Hmm.
That's awesome. Okay,
Yes.
so we're gonna go to the next question. So my next
Uh-huh.
question for you, another personal one. So let's see. So can you describe a mentor or role model who has been a significant impact on your professional journey?
Does it have to be one person?
Oh, you can give me two. You can give me two.
Okay, two people. All
Yeah.
right. So the first person I say that has impacted me very strongly on my professional journey is my pastor. His name is
Mm,
Sean Gray. He's done a lot to kind of like help me just grow as a woman and understanding how to operate in the business world, and how to use wisdom, how to what it means to have humility and to be
mm.
humble. He really has, made a great impact on me professionally. That's the first person. The second person I would say is really like my mom. She's no longer, with us, but she was like the epitome of making sure that you were educated. She always told me that if you knowledge is something that nobody can ever take away from you. And so
Mm.
as long as you have knowledge, and as long as you continue to be a learner and you're impacted and growing, you know that you'll always succeed and get far no matter what you do. And my mom was actually a teacher. She was not in the healthcare field, but she was very
Wow.
supportive of, yeah, very supportive of what I want to do. And it's kind of like in a way I'm following her in first steps because I am a teacher. I just
Mhm.
teach, when it comes to phlebotomy. So I am following in her footsteps in a way. But those two
Yeah.
people have really had a great impact on me, professionally and just business wise. And I'm really grateful for both of them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I
Mhm.
love to hear that. Like, like it's one thing to know that you can draw blood really good. It's one thing to know that you can teach phlebotomy very well, but just to know like who your heroes are, who your role models and mentors are, it just kind of like see or it just kind of shows like who you really, listen to, who you really adapted
Yeah.
to from, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's good
Right.
to see started, you know what I mean? And who was the people that you applaud for this? Because you're going to give the roses to the people that deserve roses, period. Because if they
Yes,
don't deserve it, you're not going to
true.
bring it up. It's not even going to be in the conversation. You're going to give it to the people who actually deserve it. So that's awesome. Just to
Mm,
hear that. I really feel like for me, my role model, I can honestly say was my foster parents. Because
okay.
me being, black, living with them, all white,
Right.
nice up, not apartment. It's a nice house, high ceilings, big yard. Like,
Right.
I'm at this all white school and stuff like that. And I'm from Philly. I'm from the hood. I'm from the
Right.
ghetto and everything else. So it's just like a complete change of culture. So, it molded
Mhm.
me in a different way because I always chased to be different because I know I wouldn't get it in the environment that I was in. So once I actually, left my home, and I was so disobedient when I was younger and didn't know any better and stuff like that. But when I,
We all were.
grew right. But when I grew with them, I realized, that life can be so much more than what you make it, and it is, it is what you make of it. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking that, they had to work, as doctors and lawyers to get this nice place to live in a specific area. And it wasn't like that at all. My foster mom was just a nurse, and my dad or foster dad was a police officer, but they still lived very nice, a great family, great neighborhood. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can get this too. I can do this too. And they just told me all about
Right.
the purpose. So it just motivated me to want to be the greatest man that understands living in both cultures, how to make it and how to adapt, and knowing where you came from to knowing how to be great. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
that's my story. You know what I mean? And that's how
Yeah.
I understood how to grow in life. You know what I mean? So those are my role models. But
Right. That's good.
yeah, I think that's so important that we should know that as
It
phlebotomists.
is. Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, I want to ask you one more personal question, and then we're going to get into the phlebotomy questions. We're going to jump in the phleb family, the phleb conversation, the phleb vocab. We're going to go into the phleb universe in just a second. So, my final question, just to, like I said, get to know you,
Mhm.
is going to be this one. So, ooh, okay.
What is
What
it?
are some personal or professional goals you've set for yourself in the coming year?
Wow, those are really good. Okay, let's see. So when it comes to, I'll do both personal and professional. As far as personal goals, I want to travel a little bit more. I've been extremely busy when it comes to the phlebotomy arena, and I've put some trips on the back hold. So I want to go on this 14-day cruise. So that's
Oh,
something that I'm looking to do
okay,
this
okay.
year. And then my second, as far as when it comes to professional, I want to help more. I've helped a lot of students. I've touched a lot of students' lives. This year, when it comes to professional wise, I want to focus more on helping phlebotomy instructors, program
Mm,
directors, people who are interested in opening up their own phlebotomy school. I really want to, just be a light and help them. Just because my journey when it comes to opening up my own phlebotomy school, it initially was an idea back in 2017, and the
mm,
school did not open until February of 2023. So as you can see, it takes some time. It does not have to take that long, you guys. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the fact that it took so much time because there was a lot of, background things that I had to break through, just in my own personal mind and also to just in the business world. And I didn't have anyone there to kind of help me and walk me through certain things. So
mm,
now that I've been able to overcome those things, I want to be able to help anyone who's interested in starting their own program, becoming an instructor. So
mhm.
that's an arena that I'm going to be touching on this year.
Wow. Look at that, you guys. Listen. We about to listen. Do you guys hear this? She's helping you guys build schools,
Yeah.
educating phlebotomists, teaching, showing them the ropes. Listen, if you guys are interested in, just even being a part of that, put a one in the chat. I mean, put a one in the chat right now. If you find that just interesting or something that you may even want to tap into or want to do,
Mhm.
put one in the chat. Listen, if you're interested in opening your phlebotomy school, oh my gosh, listen, stop playing. Stop playing. Listen, put a one in the chat. Put a one in the chat. Okay. So yes, people put one. Is your instructor program in person or online? Oh, we got some questions.
Both. It's both. It's in person and it's also online. The online program will be released in spring. So it is both. Hmm.
Look at that. You got options, you guys. Make sure you guys comment the number one if you find it interesting. If it's something that you're interested in, if you want to get started with this, just comment. I'm sorry, put in the chats the number one. But that's
Hmm.
awesome. Listen,
Yeah.
if we have more schools out here, I feel like it'll just be amazing for people to just grow from 0 to like 100 with phlebotomy, especially
Hmm.
it'll be opening up more opportunities for us to find more opportunities in contracts and partnerships and in that area
Yes.
because we have more schools, we have more students. So it's like, hey, we can actually help you guys out by offering services. I have students here. It's almost like nursing school in a sense, but it's just
Hmm.
specific phlebotomy. You know what I mean? So it's like
Right.
offer a service. We're needed in almost every industry as far as medical for blood work services. Like 70% of doctors rely on lab work, and we are the people that do it. So it's like, hey, pick me, use me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's awesome. Someone else had a
Yeah.
question. Do you
Mhm.
offer phlebotomist 2 program?
Phlebotomy 2 program is really not a phlebotomy 2 program. If you want, it's more so a refresher course. And so for phlebotomy 2 programs, a lot of times wherever you are working at, whatever organization, a lot of times they'll offer that to you. It's just more knowledge that you have to just acquire for a phlebotomist too. But for refresher courses or even one-on-one, I can help with that. But it's not a specific program that I have for phlebotomy 2 program.
Awesome. Awesome. If anyone else have any questions, make sure you leave it in the chat so we can ask Deborah. And we're going to get into the phlebotomy questions. You guys ready for the phlebotomy questions? Comment phlebotomy in the chats. Let me see
And
who's ready for the phlebotomy questions. Yeah.
Before we go on questions, I just want to say, because a lot of people don't know this, but I think that it is so cool that you and I are both from North Philly and we're both in Houston together.
Isn't that crazy?
That is
Isn't that
so
so funny? Like I pondered on that the other day. Well, last night I was just like, we are really like from the same area,
right.
doing the same stuff, going through the same stuff. It's just like, oh my gosh, like, hey sis, what's up? Like, you get it. You know what I mean? And you get the culture difference
Oh,
from
yes.
both sides. Because our people in Philly are different from the people in Houston completely.
It's very
so
different.
It's just like one of those things where, yeah. So it's like one of those things to where, I appreciate, the transition because I know what I want to be around. I know what I want to surround myself around, moving forward. But yeah, it's just about
Yeah.
growth. You know what I mean? You're a product of your
It is.
environment. So you gotta definitely, want to
True.
grow. But let's get into the phlebotomy questions. I'm so excited. So
Me too.
we have the questions right here. So I want to ask you this one. Okay, so can you share your journey in becoming a phlebotomy instructor? What inspired you to take on this role?
Okay. My journey to becoming an instructor, initially I started out after I was finished with school. I did get a job at the American Red Cross that I worked. Oh, I love the American Red Cross. It was so much fun. I learned so much. So I was a donor phlebotomist. Then from there,
Okay.
I transitioned into mobile phlebotomy for a little bit, and then went and I worked in a psychiatric hospital as a phlebotomist and got into the hospital setting. And then from there, I transitioned into reference laboratories. So what inspired me to become an instructor is while I was in the field, I saw a lot of things that they taught us in school not to do. I saw a lot of things that I felt were unethical. I saw phlebotomists who were phlebotomists but did not have the necessary skill set that they should have to become a phlebotomist. I saw a lot of angry, upset patients, poor customer service. And whenever I'm doing something, I truly love to do it in excellence. And so it was a struggle working at different companies and working at different jobs. And that standard of excellence was not in place. So I figured, okay, well, since I operate at a level of excellence and I have this experience, why not teach people or help people, acquire this sort of knowledge and this experience? So I decided to become an instructor and, went through an instructor program to become, certified. And I just started teaching students not just how to put a needle in the arm and the fundamental concepts of phlebotomy, but actually what to do as far as calming down a patient, how to handle your coworkers and your peers, how to collaborate with your phlebotomy managers, all of those other things. So it just was kind of disheartening being in the field, seeing those things. So that's kind of led me to becoming an instructor and teaching people, hey, this is the right way. This is going to get you to that level you're looking to get to. And also, you being able to deliver this type of care to people coming to see you.
Yes, that's
Mhm.
awesome. I love that. That's so
Yeah.
amazing how, you can find a problem for something and, you realize what the problem is and then you want to have a solution for it, which is probably why your name Phlebotomy Solutions, right? That
Yes,
is
that's the
so
name.
right. That is so funny. I love that. I love that. What's
Mhm.
the next question? So, how do you create a supportive and engaging learning environment for your students?
As far as supportive, I like to be relatable, let students know that, hey, even though I'm your instructor, I'm here for you if you need something outside of phlebotomy. Because that kind of helps. It's difficult for people to learn if they have personal things going on. When it comes to being supportive, a lot of my students know that they can reach me after hours. I even had a student who worked at a mall one time and she really needed the money because she was trying to pay off something for school. So I met her at the mall during her break and we kind of sat in the what is it called, with the food court, and we kind of just went over some things. We had like an hour study session, so just meeting people where they're at, is a great way that I found myself to just kind of give students that, support that they're looking to get. Hey, I'm here for you,
Yeah.
regardless of what you're going through. So, and that has helped.
Yes, and you know what? You get blessings for that, just going above and beyond, to
Yeah.
help a person and just have a genuine heart by doing it. It just showers you with blessings by you just being in that mindset and doing that for others. I would do that too for a heartbeat. If a person
Yeah,
needs
you would.
whether it's for education, whether it's for tutoring, whether it's for mentorship, I can meet you wherever. Like we can go to Starbucks and I can teach you whatever. You want to go to the mall? Cool. I'll meet you at the most quietest spot. We can go into a corner, whatever. But I'm going to let you know. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to show you. And that's how why I'm so dedicated in this field, and it's like blood, sweat, and tears, because I just love what I do. I love helping people, and I love
Right.
it's like a vocation, not a vacation, but a vocation. Doesn't feel like I need to get paid for it, and I understand that we should definitely, of course, but it doesn't feel, it just feels so natural to help people
Mhm.
and not to worry about a monetary gain from it, because if you love to do it, it's going to be a passion, and you weren't worried about the money. It's just,
Right.
hey, this are the results. Hey, this person's happy. Hey, this person's great.
Yeah.
You can help on that, but yeah, I totally agree with you on that. That's a
Yeah.
blessing. I love to hear that. I words like that. That is just so
Right.
touching. All right, so
Mhm.
my next question is going to be this. And if you guys have any questions in phlebotomy or about phlebotomy or anything about starting a phlebotomy school, or you have questions specifically to Deborah, drop it in the comment section, you guys. This is a great interview so far. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So, a few more questions. What specific challenges do phlebotomy students often face when preparing for the national exams?
One of the challenges that I see is that students believe that they have to know everything before they go into their phlebotomy exam. That is not
Mm,
true. There's different concepts that students should truly focus on. So, like for instance, patient care, patient identification, venipuncture process and procedures, studying in categories versus just open up your textbook and trying to memorize everything. That is a
mm,
big mistake.
mm,
Memorization does not work. You have to really internalize the information. For instance, when it comes to the order of draw, you should know the order of draw like you know your social security number. If you
mm,
don't know the order of draw like you know your social security number, you are going to struggle and you're going to be frustrated. And so what I see students doing is they don't really understand how to break down questions, and it's not their fault. The reason why students don't know how to break down questions is because the instructors aren't teaching on the level to have students break down the questions. I
mhm,
can help students get the right answer to a multiple choice question without them even knowing the answer to it. And it's not because of knowledge. It has to do with breaking down the question and coming
mhm.
to the best answer. And it'll be the correct answer. That's kind
Yeah.
of how I teach. And so I see a lot of students make the mistake of trying to study everything, and that is not how you want to go about it. You should always, if you're in phlebotomy, your first day of class, that should be your first day of studying. You should not wait till you're
Mm,
finished your phlebotomy program to start studying. You shouldn't wait 2 weeks after the exam to begin studying. Your studying begins that day that you enroll. And so that's kind of how I teach and train my students so that way they can be successful when it comes to the exam, how to break down questions because the tests are formulated. Yes, there's some of them are knowledge based, but they don't want you to pass. They
mm,
make it difficult. They make these questions very challenging. And so as instructors, we have to be able to teach students how to break down the questions. And then students have to do their part in learning and understanding and doing that studying and knowing how to effectively break down those test questions. So that way they don't feel so overwhelmed because it can be very overwhelming,
wow.
going to go sit for that exam.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
I know how overwhelming it can be because I took that exam before, and listen,
Yes.
it is not fun. Okay.
Mhm.
But once you do know the orders of draw, once you understand, the basics of phlebotomy, you have the foundation is a breeze, but you gotta have your heart and soul within this. I feel like if you really love this, it'll come natural to you. You'll know, different techniques, you'll know different additives, you'll understand all of this stuff with no problem if you have the love and passion for it because you want to learn more about it, right? You want to be
Right.
educated one about, I'm sorry, knowing about the specific topic, so you want to, do your research and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So those are the type of phlebotomists I love to deal with because they want to know more about phlebotomy. They want to understand why patients are getting certain tests. I can look at a script and know exactly, I'm sorry, I can look at a test tube and know exactly, if a person's on some type of medication, you see them with a blue
Right.
top tube, that, hey, they may be on blood thinners. So it's just small little things like that, that we take that extra step on wanting to know outside of just drawing blood. Because again, I tell people
Mhm.
all the time, we have medical professionals who can pick up a needle and think they're a phlebotomist, when they don't understand
Yes.
that, yeah, you can pick up a needle and draw blood. That doesn't mean you know the integrity of that sample or how to keep it great or safe
Right.
or how to, make sure that it get hemolyzed, So We are the
Yes, you're
experts
right.
in that, and we take that extra route on knowing that because again, they may know how to draw blood because it's under their scope of practice that they had to learn during medical school or whatever. So they feel like it's not
Mhm.
really something big when it actually is. So they kind of just, push us to the side. But we are the people that, keep that integrity for that sample to be, great, to be fine, so that it doesn't
Right.
have to redraw for that patient. So that's the difference between us and some of these medical professionals in that specific area because we do go above and beyond for our samples and we need to understand this so that we don't have a wrong era to where we have to redraw you again, waste your time, waste your money.
We don't want to do that.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's awesome. I love that answer. All right, so what in your opinion, what role does hands-on experience play in phlebotomy education, and how do you incorporate it in your teachings?
Oh my goodness, that plays such a huge role. There's so many phlebotomy programs out here now. Now, prior to COVID, there were a lot of phlebotomy programs had like internships and externships.
Hmm.
Students had to do clinical rotations and things like that. Now it is not really necessary. I see a lot of programs rolling out there that does not require students to have that experience. Like they'll do a hands-on 1 or 2 days of hands-on training, but like because COVID happened, you don't see a lot of phlebotomy internships and externships. But
Mm,
when students have that opportunity to have a hands-on experience, they can take what they learned in a classroom and they can put it into practice. This is
mm,
where students get their technique down because drawing blood
mhm,
is a technique. It's not just putting a needle in the arm. This is where they'll be able to see, oh, I understand why the order of draw is why it is. They'll be able to also process samples, learn how to aliquot samples,
mm,
also have an understanding of point of care collections, also to understanding non-blood samples such as stool collection, sputum collection, urine collection. They'll also have an opportunity to see all the different types of equipment that is, in a lab. So the
mhm,
hands-on experience is super important. At my school, what we do is we start our hands-on experience at the second week when it comes to phlebotomy training. That's when we start kind of like, okay, we're gonna go and stick each other. We're going to learn how to
mhm,
tie a tourniquet because that's the first thing we learn is how to tie a tourniquet, you know. Also to have an understanding of like patient adverse reactions. So like we'll have students act out like they're vomiting or they're fainting, and then the phlebotomist has to
mhm,
actually go through the motions. Okay, this is what I would do if this were to really happen. Our school also has something called Friends and Family Day,
mhm,
and how we do that is we have each student bring in, 3 to maybe 5 friends or family, and we all use
mhm.
their arms to
Oh,
stick.
wow.
And so that allows that student to one, cultivate that confidence that they need. And then they also have that support because these are their friends and their family that are coming there to support them in their journey. So those are just some things that we kind of incorporate. I just started doing this at the end of last year, something called hands-on phlebotomy sessions, where I've opened it up to students who don't go to professional phlebotomy solutions. They may
Right.
be a part of another school, or they may just need some more experience or want somebody to critique their technique. So I've opened that up to allow students to come and just get that hands-on experience because it's been hard since COVID. It's difficult to
Yeah.
find an internship or externship. And you guys, if you're in Houston, just so you know, MD Anderson has a great phlebotomy externship program. So just if you finish your phlebotomy, education and you're looking for an externship program, just go ahead and go to MD Anderson's website, and you should see, what they have available.
Wow.
Mhm.
You guys see that? You guys heard that? Make sure you
Mhm.
guys check that out. Oh my gosh, you just hit me with so many gems over there. Listen, that was just like left and right, and I'm just like, okay. So my next question to you is this one, okay? Because we're running out of time, but I want to make sure I get this question asked to you. Okay, so
Okay.
what role does ongoing education and professional development play for practicing phlebotomists, and how do you emphasize its importance?
Okay. That plays a huge role. That is one of my pet peeves, people who do not want to learn because
Mhm.
the phlebotomy arena grows so much. You learn something new every day. I've been in this field for 19 years and I learned a few new things this week. So I think always being
Mm.
open to learning, you can grow. And the
Mhm.
reason I will say the reason why I was able to grow so much is because I've been able to keep myself open to learning. I'm not
Mhm.
a know-it-all. And then if I don't know something, I don't have a problem asking or trying to figure out the question. Um,
Mhm.
and so I always teach my students to one, not be a know-it-all. When you go through a phlebotomy program, you're only going to learn 20% of what you need to know in
Mm.
the field. You're really not going to get that experience until you get your first job and you have, in the field. It's just like high school. How much of what we learned in high school are we using in the adult world? Maybe
Mm.
10%.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how phlebotomy is. Like, yes, you'll learn those fundamental concepts, but don't finish the program and think that you know everything, because that's not going to be, it's not going to help you out at all in the field. But just for personal development, I like to read books, watch different YouTube videos, and just kind of keep up. I have a few different acquaintances and also friends who are in the healthcare field. So asking them questions, partnering with people. I like to stay connected to people who are smarter than me, because that's kind of
Mm.
how I learn. If
Mhm.
I'm the smartest person in the room, then I can't grow. So
No. Oh my gosh, I
yeah,
love that. You guys heard that? I received that one. Listen, if I'm not the smartest person in the room, I do not
yeah,
wanna be in there,
right.
okay?
Yeah, I have to like make sure that I just stay in a place where I can always be open, to learning. So that plays a huge role. If you're looking to grow, like for instance, if you are already a phlebotomist and you want to become a team lead or a supervisor, just don't automatically think because you have 10 years or 15 years of experience, you should be a phlebotomy supervisor or a phlebotomy manager. Kind of just really like assess your heart, figure out
Mm.
why you want to be in a position of leadership. Leadership is way more than a title. So just kind of assess yourself, and also to look at your own work ethic. Are you doing the things that you need to do to become like a manager or a supervisor or a leader? Are you operating in integrity? Are you going to be willing to help people and not hurt people? So I
Mm.
kind of think that just some of those things I've just applied to my own life to be able to get to where I'm at. But yeah, professional development is definitely key. You got to always be willing to grow.
Always phlebotomist. I feel like every
Mhm.
phlebotomist should know uh, not only just the orders of draw or know how to draw blood or aliquot or centrifuge. Like we need to dig more into the molecular side of
Yes.
phlebotomy, the science side of phlebotomy, because again, we have patients who come to you sometimes don't even know what the hell they're getting drawn for
Right.
or what are getting lab work done for. So we have to be able to answer those questions when those questions come about. Who's here that ever had that experience happen where a patient says, "Hey, do you know what I'm being tested for?" And you looked at the script and said, "Oh, I don't know. Did you ask your doctor?" Or you say, "Oh, I
Right.
don't know. Like, did your doctor tell you?" That's happened to me many times. And I've seen it happen to many other people. Because sometimes these people don't know. But that's also an opportunity to make a relationship with that patient once you do educate them. Because now they're going to look at you as the expert. Okay, so
Mhm.
now, again, this is why, we need to look at the pain points in the situations where a person may come to you with questions about their lab work. And you have to take that initiative and take that step forward to wanting to grow and learn what it is that they're asking for. Because if it's two out of, three patients that are asking this, you should be able to, research on what the top questions are being asked so that you can always regurgitate it out to that patient all the time,
Right.
have an answer for them. You know what I mean? So that's why I say going that extra mile is huge in phlebotomy, and not just being ignorant to just knowing the basics, because anyone can draw blood, but do you know how to keep the integrity for that sample? And that's the most
Right.
important thing, because if you have that tourniquet on for 2 minutes, hey, we got some hemoconcentration happening over there, so we
Yeah,
can't
that's
keep the
true.
sample, but they don't know that, so now we have to redraw
Understanding
this
that.
patient, samples off, but it's small things
Mhm.
like that we need to, voice and kind of make that a priority to know more than just blood draws and more than just lab work. It's more than that.
Right.
Technique. It's, hey, if you draw blood, and you do 50 people at your school or whatever the case may be, doesn't mean you know how to draw a person with edema. Doesn't mean you know how to draw a person with scar tissue from being a meth user. You know what I mean? So
Right.
there's times to where you may have a student that just has deep veins or rolling veins, but when we have those patients who have chronic illnesses and we're trying to really get into their veins and their bloods, we need to educate ourselves and be more experienced and wanting to know how to get
Mhm.
veins, because once you know how to master them, you can draw any vein on any arm.
This is
Period.
true. Right
Period.
about that.
Awesome. Awesome. Wait, how did you guys, someone just asked, wait, how did you get your screen side by side? That's awesome. Listen, we got some new technology over here, okay? We're stepping it up 2024. We're doing the big 2024, okay? Everybody's growing here. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. I have another question for you, okay? About 2 more questions. Open it up to the audience.
Okay.
So can you share some examples of innovative teaching tools or methods you implemented in your phlebotomy classes?
Yeah, so some things I implemented in my phlebotomy classes is one, when we start off with the class, everyone has to recite the order of draw, because that helps students kind of formulate it, get it into their brain. Another thing that I kind of implemented is making sure that every day we are doing 15 to 20 multiple choice questions. The reason being is because, one, when you take your national phlebotomy certification exam, it's going to be multiple choice. How crazy is it to go through your whole phlebotomy program, not have different tests and quizzes, and it's not multiple choice, and then sit down for a 2-hour exam and have all of these 100 or more multiple choice? So we practice multiple choice questions, at least 15 to 20 every single day, because it helps students break down those concepts. It gets their brains ready on understanding and getting used to multiple choice questions. So those are just some things that I kind of like, incorporated, because I have a big presence in like the medical field. A lot of times if I have supplies, I'll bring supplies in and show students, hey, you guys, these are some thin preps. If you're a phlebotomist and you're working in an OBGYN's office, not only you're going to be processing blood specimens, but you're going to be processing, different biopsies and thin preps. So, those things I like to bring things from outside the medical field inside the classroom to help students, just get that experience and that understanding.
Awesome. Awesome. That's a good answer. Good answer. I want to go back to this question really quick. I thought we were not supposed to answer those types of questions. I think you're talking about when a patient asks you a question about their script. So there is levels to phlebotomy in this whole entire industry. I'm just going to show you really quick because this is where we need to begin expanding our knowledge. So for instance, like right here, we have the levels of phlebotomy here. Let me move this banner really quick so you guys can actually see it. 1 second. So you guys see level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I go over this all the time. Level 1 is a person who is just working at a 9 to 5. They're working at LabCorp, they're working at Quest, a hospital, clinic, wherever you are, you're drawing blood. You're just hired to do what you were, hired to do when you saw the Indeed post, the Monster.com post, the ZipRecruiter post, and you know your role, your scope of practice. It's going to tell you that, and then you're going to apply, right? So you're going to be at level 1, okay? And that person's just doing what they're supposed to do. This is their position. This is, you're asking the person, can I have your name and date of birth? What arm works best for you? Like, you're doing your job, and you have rights too. You have the right to ask a person for their social, for, their script, for their insurance information. So this is what a phlebotomist has rights to do, right? So let's just say if a person were to come to you for, let's just say, hey, Khalil, oh my gosh, dude, I've been trying to get off this medication for my anemia. I hate this, feeling that I have. I don't like to eat food high in iron. It just makes me want to throw up. It's just sickening. So if you're a CEO or a phlebotomist who is in the business realm of things, then you're trying to step it up to where, hey, I'm trying to show people that I can get permission from patients to get blood work done. Now, this is for more of entrepreneurs now, because we're out of the phlebotomy position mindset. And that mindset is just a 9 to 5 mindset. We're just doing our job, our 9 to 5, we're doing our 8 and skate. That's it for position. But now you want to step it up to say, hey, I'm going to get permission. I'm going to show this person that I know exactly, what they can try, what they can do. I will offer this person, hey, you ever heard of CMOS? It's an iron supplement. I use this. You can try some before a procedure or a CBC to get their hemoglobin concentration levels first to find that base number, okay? And this is where education comes into it. We're showing patients what high and lows they can be for a CBC for the hemoglobin concentration. And then maybe 24 to 48 hours later, you could then offer them another blood test so that we can see if that CMOS has helped their iron levels or lowered their iron levels, So we have to get that permission first from that patient, but we have to be educated, right? We have to know that, these answers or these questions outside of our level 1 mindset in phlebotomy. And this is how we build relationship. Okay. This is how we build trust. Okay. Because we're giving them information, we're giving them knowledge, we're telling them exactly what they should try, what they should do. We're not doctors, we're not prescribing anything. It's just, we're recommending, hey, have you ever tried CMOS, or any other disease that you're maybe talking to a patient that you're trying to offer them something else, okay, an alternative, okay? Level 3 is going to be production. So now once we have drawn that blood, because we have pitched to them about this CMOS that they can try for iron supplements because of their anemia levels are high and low, they don't want to take medication or take that actual, food for iron. Now we got a script for them. We have a script, so now we produced an actual script. They're like, holy crap. This went to a laboratory. We were able to get results. I didn't have to go anywhere. Oh my gosh. So we were able to produce a script. Okay. So we were able to get results, right? So now they're trusting us. They're understanding us. They're seeing how this whole entire workflow works, right? So now we are going to level forward. We get people development. Who here has ever been in a situation to where a person was inspired by what you did and they asked you, hey, how do I become a phlebotomist? Where do I go to school at? Where can I get that training that you have gotten because you've done it so well? And I want to learn how you've done it too. This is people development. And this is where you get into the mentorship side of phlebotomy. This is where you get into the coaching side of phlebotomy. This is where you actually get into inspiring and pouring into others. This is the level 4 phlebotomist. And now we're creating other entrepreneurs. And that's the reproduction portion of things. And then right here is level 5. This is where everyone wants to reach. And this is where we actually have patienthood. But patienthood only comes to those phlebotomists who works hard and they have a great reputation and their work speaks for itself. It's not more so of I'm going to start at level 5. How you can start at level 5 when you have to get people to like you? You have to get people to give you testimonials. You have to get people to give you reviews. Like people have to know your work and know that you are, legit. You know what I mean? Because that's what's going to, those people are going to be the people that, pay you for the services. So you have to be known at least, by your community, so we have to get there. That's why I want you guys to have faces whenever you're talking to your audience or your followers. Like I want you guys to be educated on more than just blood draws. I need you guys to know additives or why a person would need a cholesterol testing or a lipid testing and what they're testing for so that we can target that specific population. Because anyone will say, oh, I'm just targeting geriatrics, or I'm just targeting pediatrics and kids, but that's still not enough, so we need to go specific as to what specific population you're drawing. So now we can see that there is 5 million people with cholesterol issues in our area. Bam! We can work on that. And we offer cholesterol testing for patients. So we now need to be educated in that specific area. And that's why when Deborah answered that question about just being knowledgeable about, other blood work and just taking to the next realm in phlebotomy is important because, again, we have to be the experts in this area. We are no longer just drawing blood just to draw blood or just to get results for patients. We are the educators and we are the experts. And that's how you turn your content into currency and turn your sticks into stacks when you start your mobile phlebotomy business. Okay. So I wanted to get that out there and say that.
Subject matter experts.
Yes. Oh my God. You have to be that. You have to step out and you have to want it too. And that's the difference between a phlebotomist and someone who is a phlebotomy entrepreneur. Entrepreneur phlebotomists are going to go above and beyond wanting to know more about this field, so that they can be more educated than, the next phlebotomist, because they want to be able to get these patients to trust them, to listen to them. Okay. You guys have to be educated. Okay. Outside of phlebotomy, outside of just drawing blood or needles, we have to be educated and these diseases. We have a whole list that I know you guys seen scripts before or a blood script where you see the SST, hemoglobin. You look at a regular, know those scripts, literally find 1 or 2 tests or a blood test on those scripts and educate your patients on those. That's it. Just know that, you'll have patients looking for you for those types of, lab work. And you'll also be having doctors and nurse practitioners listening to what you're putting out there too. So now you can draw their patients, So learn more outside of just phlebotomy or just outside of venipuncture, because it's going to be so much beneficial for you, your phlebotomy journey, and, just so much more. But this is great. I completely enjoyed this. Listen, does anyone have any questions for Deborah? Because I'm going to ask her one more question before we go. This is going to be the last question, Deborah. I promise you.
Okay.
You're fine. All right, so this is the last question. And if anyone else has any questions, you guys drop it in the chat. So we're going to see if we can throw it out there for Deborah to answer for you guys, okay? Okay, so last question. Can you share some memorable moments or experiences from your time as a phlebotomy instructor?
Yes. Okay. So some memorable moments. I want to say one that was very powerful for myself is when I first started teaching, it was back in 2018, at the end of 2018. And
Mhm.
I didn't have my own school or anything like that, but I was an instructor at a school and I had my first class, 14 students. And I was super nervous, because I'm like, oh my goodness, like their life is in my hands. These are
Right.
people who are trying to make more money, trying to learn a new skill set. Hope I'm able to break down these concepts in a way to where they understand. And so we had a really, really great time during that class. And then they took their exam at the end of, I believe it was like an 8-week course. They took their exam at the end of 8 weeks, and all 14 of the students passed on the first time.
Oh
And
my
we had a
gosh.
big party. That was so like, that made me feel so great,
Right, right. It's the
because
yes, I know that feeling. Yes.
yes, because it's like, okay, all 14 students have passed their phlebotomy, exam on the first try. It was the NHA. And
Mm,
so that's a very, up there, agency, if
yeah.
you guys know. And so that just made me feel so good inside. And then we had the
Confirmation.
graduation, and one of the students actually kind of got up and said a little speech about how I had really helped her so much. But it
Aw.
wasn't just in phlebotomy, it was the fact that I helped her like in her personal life because she was going through some things personally, and she
Mhm.
kind of spoke about that, which I was even surprised.
Oh,
So
wow.
it really was at that moment where I was like, okay, I'm making a really good impact. This was a really great decision to move forward in this. So for
Yeah.
me, that was like the most memorable time. Yeah.
Aw, that's
Mhm.
amazing. I love those
Yeah.
moments, like, especially the moments where we have, people that genuinely just, trust you, with your teachings.
Hmm.
And when they all pass and they all do good from listening to you, it gives you that confirmation
Right.
that what you're doing is right. What you're doing is the right thing. What you're doing
Yeah.
is what needed so that everyone else can pass. So like that's amazing. I
Yes.
thank you. Hats
Yeah.
off to you. Like that's a lot of
Thank
people need to hear that
you.
because those moments are so confirming to me, especially like if I, were to work with my mentees and they get the contract
Hmm.
and it's just like, oh, they listen to me.
Right.
Like it
Yeah.
works. And it just feels so good because it's like you
Yeah.
understand what you need to do and how you need to do it and why this makes sense so that you can close this deal. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it just feels so rewarding. And I'm grateful that you're in that mindset, you're in that realm of phlebotomy so we can teach others how to, be this way,
Exactly.
even be better. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
wonderful. I appreciate you so much for being here on this interview with me. Oh my God.
Yes,
I've got to
thank
get
you
the
for
clapping
having
hands next
me.
time. Yes, yes. I got to get the clapping hands next time. I want to definitely download that. But does
Absolutely.
anyone have any questions for Deborah at all? You guys enjoyed the show? We're going to have some more speakers next week. We're going to be talking with Deborah and her mobile phlebotomy business and how she obtained just everything. Okay. And she's one of my mentees. So we're going to go over everything with her. We're going to talk to her, interview her. You guys can ask some live questions. I'm so happy. But does anyone else have any questions for Deborah? Make sure you drop it in the chats. Drop it in the chats. All right, Deborah. So we are out of here. We are going
Yes,
to
thank you again for having me, Khalil. I really appreciate this
You gotta come
opportunity.
back. Yes, you gotta come
Yes,
back.
I will.
Yeah, we're gonna have like way more shows. I'm definitely gonna, interview you on just like your growth and where you are with things. Like, we gotta keep this going on. Definitely.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, Deborah. Well, we'll be talking soon. Have a great day. Thank you so
Yes,
much for
thank
coming on
you.
the show.
Bye,
No problem.
everyone. Y'all have a great evening.
See you later.